So today we have Walter Fredericks with us. Nice to meet you, Mr. Fredericks. I appreciate you being on today. For those of you who don't know, he is a producer and author and a writer for TV and film. He has a pretty vast catalog right now from writing books, and he has been proven to tell great stories time and time again. So how are you doing today, Mr. Fredericks?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. How about yourself? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. So you just recently wrote for the movie Slide.
Yes.
How was that for you? How was that process bringing that all together as far as the script goes?
Slide. It was interesting. An interesting process to write it. Creating the characters. Once we came up with the name of each of the female primary cast, because the title of the movie is an acronym for the first initial in each of their names. So once those names were created, I could start putting together their storylines, what dichotomy each of them had in their particular relationship, so that it could help what their stories are going to be leading up to the climactic ending.
Okay. All right. So, and it was a pretty fun project for you to work on, would you say?
Yeah, each of my projects is fun. What makes it fun is to create the characters, give them their personalities. If they have a significant other, what is that type of relationship like? And then I just kind of dive into each character and I become each of them when I'm writing them, and I let them just take on their own journey.
That's cool. That's a very interesting creative writing process. I think that being able to put yourself in the character's shoes definitely gives that perspective to bring it to life. So what is your favorite character in the movie? Who's your favorite character?
My favorite character is Imani. Imani is the alpha female. Imani is the straw that stirs the drink. Imani is the puppet master. So building her character and letting the other women, even, as the movie plays out, some of the husbands, how she's able to manipulate, each and every one of them.
Yeah, Imani, she definitely is a force to be reckoned with, and she definitely is an alpha female for sure.
Yes.
So that's funny. So you have actually been writing since you were 9 years old.
Yes.
That's pretty impressive. Do you remember any of your early inspirations from your childhood that pushed you to want to write? Like, was it movies, books, TV shows?
It was movies. I'm a huge movie buff. Growing up in New York City, back in the 70s into the 80s, Easter was big. And you got your brand new outfit for Easter. And what we did in New York City was a tradition. Group of my friends and I would go down to 42nd Street, and we would go and watch the Kung Fu movies. And we would sit in that theater all day and watch, Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris and all those types of movies. So that was kind of the bug for me then. And then, getting older, loving movies like Risky Business and Top Gun, and all the way up to, Love Jones and Boomerang and More Better Blues, and, more recently Den of Thieves, things like that. So I've always been a huge movie buff. At 9, the two biggest passions for me started at the same time, which was writing and basketball. So I started playing basketball when I was 9, started writing when I was 9. And at that point, I wanted one of those to, be my lifestyle. Either I was going to the NBA, I was going to Hollywood.
It was plain and so you already knew at that age what
Yes.
you do.
Yes.
That's wonderful. And it's so wonderful for your dreams to be able to come true. Um, so and you mentioned that you were from New York. I just want to say this about people from New York, all the creatives from New York. You guys have a knack for storytelling, whether it be the poets, the screenplay writers, rappers. The way that you guys are able to put storytelling together is just so amazing. Um, just the, I guess, because New York City is a melting pot of different cultures, it must help you guys to have all these different perspectives and experiences to be able to put your stories together the way that you do. It's just done in such a beautiful way, and it just seems so effortless that the way that you guys are able to put things together. So that is definitely a talent that I've noticed that a lot of New Yorkers tend to have.
Yeah, the streets give us a great canvas.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me growing up as a young man, riding the subways, walking the streets, I started to put myself in positions to tell stories. So if I'm on the subway, I kind of talk to myself and say, it's 7:45 at night. I'm on the 2 train headed uptown. Next stop is 116th Street. To my left is a man, possibly could be drunk. Across from him is attractive young woman. Looks like she's coming home from work. So you always were like telling those stories and painting those pictures, even leaving your house to whatever your destination was and back. Especially in New York during the time that I grew up, because it wasn't a guarantee you were coming back home when you went, then when you left.
Yeah.
I grew up in the height of the crack era, so maneuvering through the streets of New York City during that time, it's like rolling dice.
Yes, definitely so. I can definitely understand how the pressure living in that environment will spark the creative writing process for you and many others. Do you have like a genre or a niche that you think that you fit into, or do you not want to be boxed in?
No, I definitely don't want to be boxed in. I think I can write anything. If you look at my film catalog, I've got rom-coms, I've got dramas, I've got some urban stuff, some a little bit of gangster in there. Marriage Mansion is more of a kind of couples therapy type show that's built into a reality TV show within the movie. So I'd like to think that I can write in any genre, and I think my catalog has proven that.
Yes, yes. The catalog is definitely very vast, and I've watched a few of your pieces of art, and I must say that it's very well written. It's,
Thank you.
um, so in the past few years, you've released a lot of different movies.
Yes.
Do you have any new projects that will be coming out anytime soon?
Yes. So we have a film called Who Is She? That's going to be coming out soon. We wrapped that one in production. It's in post production right now. We also have Suffocated, To My Last Breath, which is the last installment of a trilogy of films. There was a Suffocated, and then there was Suffocated, the prequel, and now we have To My Last Breath. So that one will be coming out. Um, I've got a couple of film projects that I'm actually shopping the scripts right now. So I can't really get into too much detail about them,
Mhm.
litigations and things like that. And I don't want to ruin any potential deals on the table. Um, I've got reality TV projects, I've got television series that I'm developing. So there's a lot coming in 2025.
Good. Lots of fun stuff to look forward to. I'm
Yeah.
glad. So just to kind of pick your brain a little bit, it is inevitable, I feel like, for many writers to go through a period of writer's block. Have
Mm-hmm.
you ever experienced writer's block? And if so, how did you get past that?
Writer's block you can't force it. I think a lot of writers get writer's block because they sit in front of their computer or on their tablet or even on their phone trying to force that project from beginning to end. I tell people all the time, one of my monikers is you can't put a deadline on creativity. Sometimes you may start a project and you may get 10 pages in and you may have to walk away from it for 2 days and allow your brain to recalibrate to jump back into it. Like my writing process, I may start on a project and I got to get up and walk away from my laptop for a little bit. And then I get another idea and I come back to it. So I think writer's block really comes into play when you're trying to force it. You can't force it. You just have to let the creativity flow.
I like that. I definitely like the fact that you said that you cannot force it. Um, it, it being that it is a creative process, creativity in its natural state, it does just flow, and you definitely
Absolutely.
have to allow that to happen. So
Yes.
that, what is your most favorite piece of work that you've done, and why are you proud of it?
I would say my favorite to date is Marriage Mansion. Um, reason being, it was one of the first projects that I had written when I started on this journey, writing upwards of 13 screenplays in a calendar year. And I think Marriage Mansion was the third or fourth script that I had written. I actually wrote that movie in 3 days. And
Oh, wow.
when we presented it to the network, they couldn't believe it was done. They couldn't believe that I was actually a real person. The comment was, nobody wrote this in 3 days. This person doesn't exist. So I take pride in that because when I came on set, when we started production for Marriage Mansion, then it was like, oh, you're the writer. So I could take pride in that because now you could put a face and a name to my work. And that particular project, because we had such an eclectic and ensemble cast, and this is a project that, like I said, it's a reality show built into a movie. So writing it, you got to bounce back between movie and reality show, kind of simultaneously throughout the script. You've got four couples, those are 8 different personalities, what their particular journey is being on the reality show, the challenges they face, the end result, etc. So I would say to date of the films that are out currently, that's my favorite.
Awesome, awesome. I definitely like the concept of having the reality show within the movie. That right there in itself, it must have been um, kind of tricky for me, at least. It would have been kind of tricky to put that together. But I saw some pieces of the trailer, and it looked great. It looked fun. I definitely want to check it out. Have you ever gotten any negative feedback from any of your projects? How did it make you feel? And did you do anything to correct it if you felt the need to?
Well, I wouldn't call them negative. You know, art is subjective.
Mm,
So everyone is going to view your art differently.
yeah.
People, it's human nature to watch or partake in anything creatively to either enjoy it or critique it. So when I look at comments and reviews, I don't take offense to it because everybody has an opinion. There are things that I indulge in, whether it's sports or politics, talk radio. I'm not a fan of everybody that's involved in it. I don't agree with everything that everybody says. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. And, I like to say that the people who truly rock with me, the people who truly enjoy what I do, that's who I do it for.
Definitely. Well said. Well said. I think that, like you said, it's all subjective. Everyone has their different opinions.
Mhm.
Doesn't make it right or wrong
Mhm.
on either side.
Right.
I like the way that you put that. Do you have any words of advice for aspiring writers, producers, anything that you had to learn on your own that you wish you would have known earlier in your career?
Yes, you got to have tunnel vision. You have to build a discipline about it, and you have to be selfish. Any level of success that you're going to reach, whether it's in Hollywood, music, athletics, you have to be selfish because not everybody is going to understand your process. So you have to block out the people on each side of you that are kind of the naysayers, like, oh, you doing this is not going to work. It's not going to this. You have to have tunnel vision. You have to have discipline, and you have to stick with it. You know, I've been writing since I was 9. I wrote my book in 2002. I had written probably 5 screenplays that never even made it to fruition. And then an opportunity came up where I was tasked with writing 3 holiday movies without being paid for them to prove my creative worth. And those 3 films put me in the position that I'm in now. And I could have easily said, oh man, I'm writing these 3 movies. I'm not making no money. These movies may not even come out. And I could have just wrote those 3 movies and I could have really made them not up to my standard. And that may have been the opportunity that I blew. But I put my blood, sweat, tears into everything that I do because you never know when that next project is going to be the project that's going to catapult you.
Excellent. I think a lot of people, especially when it comes to the creative industry, entertainment, you know, what have you, they don't understand that there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes before you actually get your big break.
Yep.
Nothing happens overnight, and the television gives this illusion of your celebrity when you just, people just, it seems like they just pop up, but
Yep.
that's not how it happens.
Not at all. And then the second part of your question, um, yeah, align yourself with a mentor, align yourself with someone that's done it before you. When I started out, I didn't have that. I didn't have a Walter Fredericks to say, okay, look, do this, and this. And, I made a lot of mistakes during my journey. But then as I got to be a little more seasoned, then I was able to connect with people like Walter Mosley, Maya Angelou, Russell Simmons, and they dropped some really good jewels on me to help me stay on my path. And then during that journey, I've been able to get with a lot of other people in the business to, as you would say, verify that I'm headed in the right direction.
That's awesome. And congratulations for all the hard work that you put in, and you're bearing the fruits of your labor now.
Yes, thank
And
you.
it's such a good piece of information for aspiring writers. Like you said, you worked on 3 projects and you did not get paid for it. People need to know that this has to be something that you love to do, to the point where you will do it for free.
Yep.
Uh, there's so much free work that you have to do to even get to the point where you want to be at with it. I feel like in any career.
Yep.
And so that was a beautiful piece of information just right there.
Thank you.
So I see that you like to travel a lot. I was on your Instagram and I saw that you've been quite a few different places. Do you do a lot of writing when you go to like where you were in like Punta Cana, I think you were a few different places where you were at. I can't think of them right now, but
No, those are places that I go to unwind. Uh,
one.
those are places that I go to celebrate the work that I've done. Um, Probably somewhere in the near future, I'll take a trip somewhere remotely, you know, sit there quietly and see if I can be creative. But no, those trips are really to blow off the steam from the work that I've put in. Because it's a process, you're looking at, a 6 month to maybe a year process from inception of the idea to the screenplay to development to the cast to pre-production to production. And as the writer and producer on a few of the projects, I'm in that mix the entire time. So
Yeah.
when I take these trips, it's kind of like as they say, I get to go turn up a little bit.
That's good. Yes. Work hard so you can play hard.
Absolutely.
Yes. Awesome. So earlier you mentioned that one of your childhood aspirations were to be in the basketball league.
Yes.
And I know that you have after the league.
Yeah. Got the hoodie right here. Always promote the brand.
Always weapon. That's what.
Always.
So can you tell me about after the league?
So after the league, 2010, 2011, this was when Basketball Wives was ascending, to be the next reality TV show franchise. Being a former ball player, growing up in New York City, a lot of the men that these women were linked to were people I knew personally. Whether played with them, against them, knew them personally, etc. And my brother happened to call me and he was like, "Are you watching this?" And I've never been a fan of reality television. Really, I'm still not to this day. I'll watch it occasionally just to see kind of like what the competition is doing. Um, so I turned it on, and I don't want to name anybody in particular because I don't want to put people on blast. And that was 15 years ago, and I don't want to bring up old wounds to some people.
Yeah.
And there was this one segment where a guy that I know personally and revere, he was getting hammered on the show, and my brother was like, "Man, all these reality shows, they focus on the women and they really, painting these guys that they're linked to in negative lights." He was like, "Someone should come up with a concept to give these guys an opportunity to have their time to tell their story." And I said, "I'll call you back." And I wrote up a treatment in an hour. And I emailed it to him. And he was like, "What is this?" And I said, "It's a reality TV show." He said, "Well, what are you going to do with it?" I said, "I'm going to develop it and produce it." I said, "And you're going to help me." And he said, "Well, that's your lane. I don't know how to do any of that." I said, "I'll teach you." And after the league was birthed, and I'm a businessman as well as a creative. So looking at after the league and what it will and can become, it's not just a reality television concept, it's a brand, hence the clothing line. So, we're developing the reality show. We have a clothing line, we've got an online store, we got a website, www.aftertheleague.net. It's a one-stop shop for everything after the league. My bio is on there, my two business partners. It talks about our journey and building it to where it is. You can go on there and you can buy the merchandise. As we put the show together, you'll be able to see snippets on there. I'm actually talking to some people in the tech world about developing an After the League app where you can go onto the Apple store and download After the League, and you get everything. I'm also talking to some people about developing an After the League video game. So it's a movement. It's not just a reality TV show. It's a brand that we want to be able to compete with, the Bleacher Reports and the ESPNs and you know people of that ilk, so to speak. So, um, as a former ball player, I didn't play in the NBA, did play in college, had a Division I basketball scholarship. Um, I'm the epitome of After the League because once your playing days are over, real life sets in. And you have to make a decision on what you're going to do with your life after you stop bouncing that ball.
Yeah. And I commend you for bringing that story to light, and also shifting from that negative spotlight that was being shined so brightly during that 2010s era, um, when a lot of our Black athletes, they were being painted in a negative light, because of reality TV. And like yourself, I'm not a big fan of reality TV for that reason. And I think that that's beautiful that you are able to take that and just turn it into something beautiful on the spot like you did. And it was just like it was written in the stars for you. So
Right.
yeah, I look forward to everything that you will be doing with After the League.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I definitely look forward to doing that. Um, so you have the clothes. So on the website, you have the clothing. We can go to aftertheleague.net, cop the clothing.
Pick out the clothing. There's a chat room. You can communicate with any of us. I'm the primary person that's kind of manning the website right now, along with our IT guy. But it's interactive. You can leave me comments, um, order clothes. As we continue to build it, we're going to put an After the League magazine on there, so you'll be able to keep up with what's hot after the league. There'll be a feature on me as the CEO of the company, and I'll talk about how I started it with my two partners, and then they'll have their piece. Each of our cast members will be able to have their spotlight on the website with the magazine. Um, like I said, as we start shooting, which is going to be coming up probably in the next 45 to 90 days, that we're going to go into production. You'll get to see some of the behind the scenes stuff of us putting the show together. We'll do some interviews with the cast, and they can talk about their journey and what they want to bring to the show. So it's just going to continue to build.
Awesome. Yes, yes. And I know that that's going to go far. Thank
Yes.
you so much. So aftertheleague.net, and we can watch your work right now. It's streaming on Peacock, Tubi, Pluto TV. You can go on IMDb and look at all your work. For all the viewers, you can go on IMDb and type in his name, Walter Fredericks, and see all of his work. So you can check out all of his movies. Look forward to everything that you have coming. And thank you so much for being a guest here today.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.